beautiful. Thank you for doing that. Oh my God. I don't know how many. Wow. How do you speak after that? Right? Does that just hit you right here? Oh, I'm crying. Okay. Y'all probably knew that was going to come. I should have listened to it 100 times, but I just still would have cried. So, let me read it to y'all. Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord, my whole life long. Isn't that beautiful? So often, I don't know about y'all, but I have only really hear that in
Two.
all right, let's see if I can walk and hold this at the same time, because that's not always what I can do. So it was several weeks ago, I came across this song and said, oh my gosh, please, you have to. And that psalm has been something that's been living with me, and I've been saying it every day. And I just the peace, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Isn't that powerful? I shall not want. Meaning I don't need to come to my life from this place of lack and limitation, right? Because it's already here and it's already right in perfect coming towards me because of knowing the indwelling God and the God outside of me. So that's really been living with me, and why I asked. And I'm going to come back to that psalm later and even talk more about the project of the Psalms. The other thing I wanted to share with y'all is this Wednesday, I attended the Sacred Circle group. Who has not yet attended? I'm not shaming y'all. Just saying, attend sometime. Not shaming y'all. Just saying, come with us. Join us sometime. It's a great, great group. And there's something that during the group, those of you who've gone know that we read heart agreements, or the person that's leading it reads heart agreements. And there were two paragraphs that really struck me. So the Lord is my shepherd's been going in my head. And then I hear these paragraphs, and I'm going to read them to y'all. The underlying agenda of this group is to learn and to give and receive love, to experience shifts in perception that allow us to see the truth of our oneness as precious, holy children of God, not at some future time, but today during this support group. We realize that we are all on a unique spiritual journey, and we accept and respect everyone's path. And so what struck me is we are here to give and receive love. We're here to experience shifts in perception. And what I felt when Shannon actually is the one that read it this past week, is what I immediately felt is that is an invitation. It's not just heart agreements, right? But it's an invitation. It's something that we can walk into, not just in that group, but every day, every moment, right? See everything is always just that, an invitation to expansiveness, an invitation to a shift in perception. Would y'all agree with that? That's what it all is, an invitation to a shift in thank you very much, perception. Words are eluding me this morning. I'm all emotion, but words will come. So I have a point. I really do. So for me, this connects us to what we've been working on, right, with Living Originally. It absolutely connects us there. And thank y'all for doing the game show with us last week. That was so much fun. I loved it. And the teacher inside of me was so happy because it's like, y'all been paying attention. And that felt so good. Y'all been paying attention. Y'all been working the program. And that made me so happy. Y'all knew the answers. It was so fun. And this idea that what he's always saying is what Robert Brunt was always saying is that we're here to transform, right? We're here to transform. We're here to transform. And that is a shift in perception. Would you not agree? So that's what I want to talk about, shifts in perception. And I want to talk about how we can do that. How do we do that? And what I always say, and y'all know I'm going to say it again, is we do it with practice, right? We practice. And one of the best ways that we practice, and what I've done to practice, and I know y'all too, is prayer, right? Meditation. Another way I've practiced is showing up for my spiritual community on Sundays, showing up to doing volunteer work, showing up to the classes. I would not be here in this role had I not just started showing up, not just on Sundays, but actually showing up for the classes, showing up for the groups, because you're going to grow with others in community. Showing up and volunteering. I showed up when my son was 18 months old, and I went to the nursery with him. Beth knows exactly what I'm talking about. And I did it because I was a helicopter mom. That's why I did it, because I didn't know those people in the room with him, so I'd better be there, right? How beautiful that turned out to be, because then I got to learn these practices, because the best way, y'all, the best way to learn this is to start with the kids. So know that we have so many volunteer opportunities. We are opening a nursery, and y'all can always show up and volunteer and learn these practices, because you're going to be teaching them to kids. So showing up is a way of shift in perception. And the Unity Principle 3, what does it say? Some of y'all already know, and I'm going to say it anyway. And that is the old way of saying is thoughts in our mind produce after their kind. In other words, the thoughts we choose are the thoughts that are going to help us grow, right? Our thoughts create our reality. So those of you who are starting an Abraham group, y'all already know that, because that's exactly what that teaching is. So are y'all ready for this? Okay. I accept the invitation. I accept, see how this feels for you, my holy shift. Notice that. My holy shift. I'm very creative, aren't I? Y'all hear the other word, don't you? But what I want you to hear is I accept my holy shift, your shift in perception. I accept my invitation. And what does that mean for you? What invitation are you accepting? Deeper wholeness, deeper healing, a deeper awareness of love for yourself and others? What is that? Think about, what are you being invited to? The best way to know what you're being invited to is what's showing up in your life right now. Right? What is showing up in your life right now? Whatever that is probably needs a holy shift. Would y'all not agree? Okay, so let's get started. I want to begin with, do y'all remember Saul and how he was on his way to Damascus? Y'all remember that? We call that a Damascene conversion. I know, it's a big word. Jan Couture. Damascene conversion. So Saul, and I'll just quickly give it because I want to give what's going in with me about seeing Saul this morning. He is from Tarsus. He's a Jew. And the biggest piece to note is he's a Jesus persecutor. You know that, right? He's a Jesus persecutor. So maybe there's a little judgment going on for him, right? So he wants to just go. He wants to go, and he's on this road to Damascus. He wants to go to hate on people. That's really what he wants to do. He wants to go and hate on people. How do you think that works out for him? Not good. Well, Jesus shows up and says, "Why are you persecuting me? Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" And he's like, What voice is that? What's going on, right? That's what he's saying. What's going on? So then he goes to the house of Ananias, who Jesus tells him, you got to, take care of this guy because he's blind and has scales on his eyes. And for like 3 days, he cannot see and he cannot drink. What does that mean? He cannot see, right? He cannot see the good, or he's going through that conversion. And then he comes out of it and is on his way. And who does Paul, of course, the name changes, Paul, which any time in the Hebrew Bible when a name changes, that's a conversion. And that conversion is meant to symbolize, I'm a changed person. I'm a new person. And so Paul is no longer a destroyer, right, but a builder. Isn't that beautiful? A builder. And so as we know, what does he do? So he was, at the time, there is no Christianity. Rather, there are people who are following the way. That's what Jesus was. If you follow Jesus' teachings, you are following the way. Well, then he begins to put together early Christian communities, and he becomes a creator. Is that not beautiful? And so one of the things that I feel like happens with him, what is that shift in perception? From judgment to love. Right? That's him, from judgment to love. And how are we going to create community with one another? From judgment, love, right? Shift in perception to love. And that was his conversion. And I've talked to you guys a lot about my own, what I've grown from. And I've always said it's anxiety, right? I've always grown from that. It's always been, it's my companion. It is my growing edge. So yesterday I went to Arnie's. Anybody been to Arnie's before? Yeah, you love Arnie's. It's a big warehouse full of lots of craps. And you got to have, no, seriously, that's really what it is, lots of craps. And when you go to Arnie's, you've got to have patience because there's so much. And if you hardly go, you don't know where anything is, right? So I went because I wanted to make sure we had stuff for Banana Throwdown. Now, I've got a crown and I got a boa. Jan says maybe that's gender specific. I do not think so. I believe everyone should have a bow and a crown. So you may get one if you win the Banana Pudding Throwdown. That was important to me. So Thomas takes me, and you notice he's not here today. He's at home working. He's sorry he's not here. But anyway, he takes me, and there was no parking. And so I said, you know what? Why don't you just leave me, and I'll just run in. I'll run into Artie's. And then you can come and get me when I'm done. I'll text you when I'm done. He's like, perfect, right? So I go in, walk in through the wrong door, which they were very nice to me, and I open my purse to see if I have my phone. Guess what? It's in the car. So for a split second, my mind is, oh, not the shift word, oh, how's he going to pick me up? He's not going to pick me up. He's not going to find me. I'm going to be straight, right? This is my mind. And then I immediately stop it. I'm like, wait a minute. You're at Arnie's? There are all of this craps here. You're going to find the wonderful, perfect, kind person who's going to help you find the exact craps you need. And then when you leave the store, he's going to be right there waiting for you. That's what I said. It's a shift, right? It's a shift. It's principle 3. We create our reality through our thoughts, through our way of thinking. Exactly, that's what happened. I found exactly what I needed. A really nice person helped me. By the way, y'all, they have crowns there that are like upwards of hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Never knew that. I was like, I need one under $10. So got that, got my boa, and I go to leave, and I'm standing outside. Of course, it's hot and, kind of Houston, as y'all know how Houston is, and hot. And I'm standing waiting for him, and I'm like, okay, Thomas, hear me. Listen. Try to get his attention telepathically. Listen, you need to come get me. You need to come get me. And no, it's not happening. And so I think, you know what? Some really nice people are going to walk towards me, and I'm going to say, may I please use your phone? Because, and I told them why. They handed me their phone. They were so kind. Of course, he didn't answer because whatever. And then I text him. I say, this is your wife. Pick me up. Of course, he still thinks it's a scam, but because that's Thomas. And I knew he would. And he said to me later on, he's like, next time tell me where we spent our 25th anniversary so that I know it's you. Otherwise, it could be AI. I'm like, oh my gosh. But I already knew that about him. Anyway, he came and got me. And basically, we just left and we laughed and laughed about it. And the people that came to me that let me their phone, they're like, do you want us to wait until he shows up? We can wait. I was like, no, I'm all good. He'll show up. And I think that's exactly what a shift in perception is, right? That's exactly what it is. For me, it's been from fear to love, knowing that the universe has my back. There are wonderful, amazing people who will always help. Would y'all not agree? Always. That's the shift. So I want to move to, I talked enough about Paul, right? Y'all don't need anything else about Paul? All right, you got Paul. Okay. So another way that we do that work, we do that shifting, is attending to our daily prayer time and our meditation time. And like I said, this Psalm 23 just really has moved me recently. And so I want to read to you guys what a Fillmore way of metaphysical way of understanding it. It's kind of a rewriting. Jehovah is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and loving kindness shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of Jehovah forever. So here's the thing about, if you don't already know about Psalms, they're in the Hebrew scriptures, you probably know. Some are written by King David, and they are meant as like a hymnal book. And they're meant to be said collectively. And they are very often psalms of gratitude, right? They're songs of comfort. They're songs of, I'm really pissed off right now, and I need your help and guidance. And here's the thing that's beautiful about the Psalms. They're a shift in perception, right? A shift in perception. And so that's what has been so beautiful to me about reading this psalm, which is something I only have ever heard in memorials, but I'm really letting it land with me, is this idea of that the thoughts are the sheep. Would you not agree? They're just the sheep. And who's going to be the shepherd of the thoughts but the divine within us? We can take care of those thoughts just in the way, and imagine God being that shepherd, helping us shepherd them out of us. How about that, if they're not useful? I kind of feel like that's all I have for you all today. The shadow of death, that's the vague darkness that we may live in, right? The vague darkness. It's not necessarily death, but just whatever darkness is moving within us, and know that the God is there helping with those dark thoughts, whatever they may be. So that's the invitation. It's an invitation that is always, always present at every moment, being invited into it. So I want to conclude with one of my absolute favorite poets, Shel Silverstein. Y'all may know it's called Invitation. If you are a dreamer, come in. If you are a dreamer, a wisher, a liar, a hoper, a prayer, a magic bean buyer. If you're a pretender, come sit by the fire, for we have some flax golden tales to spin. Come in, come in. Amen, you guys. Know that I love you, and know that I love the way that all of us keep doing this work of the holy shift. Amen.